Hey guys, welcome back. So recently I saw a couple videos on a lot of YouTubers have been hyping up about countries like Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia. So I'm gonna do a series just to have a discussion about which country is best. So maybe you've got Asian heritage, and you've mostly lived in the West, and you just wanna go on holiday or spend some time in one of the Asian countries. Well, what's trending on YouTube, like those places like Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia. And this episode I'm gonna talk about Malaysia specifically. So I've seen this YouTuber. Her name is Nomad something. She's a YouTuber that is constantly be hyping up about Malaysia, and saying that it's cheap and it's good for spending some holiday there. Basically, there's also another camp that is from this Australian Chinese guy, and he's like a financial YouTuber. He does all kind of things, but he talked about Malaysia in a very bad, negative way, as in it's not a place to go to. So I'm going to talk about what I think about these two people specifically, who's right, who's wrong. First of all, the first bad thing about Malaysia, in my opinion, as a Chinese ethnic person, I would say the first bad point is the fact that it's very car-centric place. So everywhere you need to go, pretty much you need a car in Malaysia. So whether it's south in Johor, down in the middle, KL, up in Penang, you pretty much need a car. And if you're just a visitor, tourist or something, most likely you're not going to buy a car or rent a car. So that's created a lot of problems with the just travelers. And the other point about the country is that although there is some kind of infrastructure like public transit, you have some MRT, but those don't tend to go to many places. And you do have Ubers, but it's not that it's not that expensive, but it's also very unreliable, especially in certain times. So that's not ideal. First of all, if you don't have a car, you can't go anywhere pretty much. Second point I'll mention is that do I think Malaysia is a really friendly country? Depends, right? I think if you're just talking to average Malay, they're very friendly. But if you are like having to do business, or have to deal with government people, a lot of people, Malaysians, or even in hospitality industry, they are not friendly at all. Compared to like Singaporeans even. So I would say the fact that the friendliness can be depending on who you talk to and what's your situation. I tend to find that they tend to be more friendly with Caucasians, and they don't tend to be quite friendly with Chinese people, even though Chinese account for 30% of the Malaysian population, which is quite interesting. But I do feel like there is some kind of hidden tension there, as in like there are three big races in Malaysia, right? And I think there's three races, but then like a lot of people, I don't find them hanging out together, the Chinese often with the Chinese, that can be a problem. Although I do find that Chinese Malaysians are quite friendly, as in like even they're strangers, they can be friendly. The Malays, as I said, can be friendly, but if they're in certain positions or in certain areas, for example, hospitality, they can be, just doing the bare minimum. So why are people hyping up? Why is she hyping up about Malaysia? I don't really get. Um, so, yeah, I'm not exactly sure why she's hyping up about Malaysia. The other thing about Malaysia is, if you're not into like drinking, um, or bars, although there are a lot of bars, but it's very expensive. So if you're into like drinking, partying, going out, Malaysia's not the place. But then what do? If you're a tourist, they want to do that kind of stuff. So what's the point of going somewhere? If I go somewhere like, say, Budapest or Lisbon, no, I meet some friend, I want to have a drink. I don't want to just like, or maybe I go to a club, just have some fun. Then there is of that in Malaysia, but I don't think. But the problem is it's very expensive doing that. So obviously if it's very expensive, then less people are gonna do it, right? But you can still do it, but it's just gonna be less people and less of a vibe compared to Europe, right? So that's my observation of Malaysia. So I don't really see why this blogger is hyping up about Malaysia so much. A lot of Malaysian people I know in UK, they're coming to UK like because there's like not many opportunities in Malaysia. So that's my thinking of it. Let me know what you guys think. Everybody's kind of different, I found, in this topic. I find a lot of people like Malaysia. Some of my friends actually work there. Obviously they're Malaysians. They find job opportunities, good career opportunities there. So it wouldn't make sense for them to go to like another Asian country. So depends who you ask and what you do. So yeah, that's my opinion of Malaysia. I'm going to talk about other Asian countries: China, Japan. Talk about Thailand, maybe Philippines.